When the did we decide it was okay to give the IRS 40% of our money? Well, we didn't. It all started in 1913 with the 16th Amendment, which made it legal to tax your income. Then, in 1913, the Federal Reserve Act, which was the creation of the Federal Reserve, was passed. And just after that, the Revenue Act, which was an implementation of a 1% income tax. That's how it started. It took just 3 years, and taxes were already at 15% to fund World War I. And by the end, they were at 77%. In 1920, they came back down to 25% before going up to 63% with the Great Depression. And then as a part of Roosevelt's New Deal to bring the country back out of shambles was a 79% tax implemented in 1936, which brings us to World War II and the highest taxes in the history of the United States of America at 94%. It stayed pretty high all throughout the 50s and 60s at 91%. But then in 1964, Lyndon B. Johnson brought it back down to 70%. But this is just a distraction because he flipped Executive Order 1110, which was JFK's fatal attempt to rip the future of the United States of America out of the hands of the greedy, privately owned Rothschild Federal Reserve banking system. JFK signed this order on June 4th, 1963, and he was shot and killed just 5 months later. Ronald Reagan's tax reform came in 1981. He lowered taxes to 50%, and then in 1986, the lowest in modern history, he brought them down to 28%. But just 4 years later, Bush Sr. bumped it back up to 31%, and 3 years after that, back up to 40%, where it hit its balance between 35 and 40%, and where it is today, which is 40%. Meanwhile, campaign lobbyists and mega donors ensure that with every single tax hike throughout history, there's a new deduction and a new exemption that goes right in play with the IRS code. The tax code is 77,000 pages and 3,600 different sections of ways for you to legally avoid paying taxes. Starting with 162, 168, 179, 453, 641, and 1202, just to name a few. This is the reason that Donald Trump, George Soros, Elon Musk, Nancy Pelosi, Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, Jeff Bezos, and Larry Fink don't pay taxes. They know it's a big game, and they all learned how to play. So if you want to learn how you can play the same game and legally avoid taxes, just like these people, comment the word trust, and I'll show you exactly how it's done.